This is Judah J. I don't normally make videos like this, but Seattle head coach Pete Carroll is out as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll was a great coach. He did a lot of great things for our organization. He had many different years of being above 500. I think it's 8 years of being above 10 wins or 10 years, 10 wins or above. He took us to the Super Bowl. He actually got us to another Super Bowl. He had a great tenure at Seattle, but as we know, for the last 6 years, his defense has slipped. His defense was one of the worst in the league for the past 6 years. Even this year, they came in at 30th on defense. Before that, they were still getting close to 30. Now they're completely one of the worst teams on defense, and it was absolutely a horrible sight to see us play every Sunday. Nothing really to be excited about. We played very soft. The defense just couldn't get it. He just couldn't get it right. Every one of his hires, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, they basically just could not utilize the talents that they had. We had really high draft picks. We had a lot of picks that we got from the Russell Wilson trade 2 years ago. That we were called one of the best drafters in the league for the past 2 years. Some of the best draft classes, but we still cannot get over the hump. Now we have gotten rid of what I would say is the main problem. Pete Carroll was just dated. His philosophies were dated. His defenses could not manage to hold up. We were soft in the trenches, offensive and defensive lines. Now we have a chance, finally, to start over with a new regime, create a new era. And I'm just so happy. Like, I know a lot of Seahawks Nation are very happy that we are finally on this path to true recovery, so to speak. Now, as we know, there are a lot of different head coaches that we can look at. We can look at Mike McDonald, the great defensive coordinator from the Ravens. We can look at names like Sirianni maybe from Philadelphia. He may be fired, but we also should look, what I think, possibly in the college ranks. We should go to Kalen DeBoer, possibly one of the greatest offensive minds in the game today. You can see how the Washington Huskies played. You can see how Kalen DeBoer was able to scheme. He's a scheming coach. He's an X's and O's guy. He knows how to scheme on offense. He knows how to get the players that he needs on offense to accomplish the goals and the tasks that he has. It's just his formations are great. He knows how to win. He's a winner. He plays to win. He does not play to lose. Some of the critique of Pete Carroll over the years is that he does not play to win. He plays to make it close at the end of the game and then maybe win in the final minutes. But there was never any time where the Seahawks would just blow a team out, where you say, okay, we are just better on offense. We're going to utilize all our offensive weapons, our wide receivers, our tight ends. We're gonna blow this team out by passing the ball, or we're going to run the ball efficiently. And if that's your identity, see, there was no identity with Pete Carroll anymore. He said he wanted to run the ball, but then all of a sudden we're passing and we're getting sacked, and we don't have the offensive line to give our quarterback the time that he needs in order to survey the field and make the right reads. So now you have an opportunity where we can have a new head coach come in, put together a scheme that will actually be beneficial to us every single Sunday. And there's a lot of different coaches out there. Like I said, Kalen DeBoer from Washington, the Washington Huskies, great offensive mind. Of course, Grubby, the offensive coordinator for Kalen DeBoer, is one of the best offensive minds in the world. As we know, Nick Saban from Alabama, the Alabama head coach, he wanted to hire Grubb as his offensive coordinator. But Grubb decided to stay with Kalen DeBoer because they felt like they had the team to make it to the national championship or even win the national championship. And as we know, Washington Huskies with Kalen DeBoer and Grubb took the Washington Huskies to the national championship, the best offense in college football. The team that was 4-8 2 years ago, 4-8 2 years previous before they got there. They took this team to the national championship, and we had the best offense in the country. It was an amazing thing that happened at Washington this year. And who were at the helm of that? Kalen DeBoer and Grubb. What I would say There's a lot of great offensive minds, defensive minds out there that the Seahawks could possibly bring in and interview. Not now, but in a couple weeks once they can talk to these coaches. But they should go and look in the college ranks for these great, brilliant young minds to come in and possibly bring into Seattle. Because first, when Pete Carroll came into the league, he knew of the personnel in the college ranks. He knew of the kids that were coming in. He knew how big they, how strong they were. He knew how just their football IQ. He knew because he was in the college ranks. He recruited a lot of these kids, so he had like sort of an advantage over other NFL coaches to know who to draft in the draft. That's why his first two drafts were just so amazing and legendary. The 2011 draft, 2000 Richard Sherman, 2000 Richard Sherman, Wagner, Chancellor, all these players that we've had to come in during those drafts because Pete Carroll knew what the personnel was in college because he was in college, winning national championships with USC. Now we have another opportunity to do this very same thing. If you bring in a great college mind that is just in college, one of the best offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, or even college head coaches, they know about the personnel in the college ranks. They've been to these kids' houses. They know what makes these kids tick. It's not just an eye test with these coaches. They know the personnel of these kids because they've not only seen them on the field, they've done tape study by looking at the tapes of these kids because they possibly had to play them, right? They possibly had to prepare for these kids if their team was good to go and when they were at that higher level, maybe in the bowl game, maybe if they got to the playoffs, they're like, we got to play these kids. So they're doing a lot of scouting with these kids, so they know who these kids are. You get someone from the college ranks and you will be able to build your team the right way, knowing what you're getting. Seahawks have to build in the trenches, offensive, defensive line. No team wins without being a boss and a dog and dirty and nasty in the offensive and defensive lines. You can have the greatest secondary in the world, like the Seahawks. They drafted Devin Witherspoon, which is the piece that we need to build everything off. When I say that, you look at Devin Witherspoon. He's one of the best ball hawkers. He is brutal, nasty. He will hit you. He's fast, uncanny instincts. He knows where to go with the ball. He knows the game. He knows when a receiver is, what their tendencies are. He knows when to travel with them. He knows when to let stay off and back up. He's smart. Build the Seahawks defense off of that player, Devin Witherspoon. He's a dog. And we need dogs in Seattle. So when you get a coach that knows who these dogs are, they're not going to necessarily be in the NFL ranks because they've been doing tape on other NFL teams and other NFL players. But when you got a coach from the college ranks that's been doing nothing but study on college players, been in their houses, talked to their parents, seen them, maybe even had them come to their school as a possible recruit, they know who these guys are. So when you get that college coach, you bring him into Seattle, right? We're going to have a great advantage over the other teams in the league because these coaches know these players. And what is the number one thing that puts a team above another team? Relationships. You have to build that family in your organization. You have to build the family, just like the Ravens do. They have a tradition of family. It's like a closeness. It's a unit. What do you think with Harbaugh? He took a lot of 4-star, 3-star, low 4-star players, build them into players that are just boss, that can start on possibly any NFL team in the league. But that took a desire. It took a single mindset to create a family, a unity in their team. So now, who do I think the Seahawks should choose as the next head coach? It should be someone that will bring the single focus back to the team. When you think of the Seahawks, you should say, what do we think about when we think about the Seahawks? Is it is it hard nose? Is it smash mouth? Is it great tackling? Is it motor that just brutal hitters that just don't take nothing for nothing? They just knock you out. Sort of like that Michigan team that we've seen this year. I hate saying that because I'm a Husky fan. Or should it be somebody that's an offensive minded guru that knows how to scheme, that knows how to use his receivers and his tight ends and his offensive line in the right way to get an advantage. What do you want? Me personally, because of the way that the league is going, right? I want to get a offensive minded guru that is able to completely dice another coach up, scheme another coach down. When it is first down, I want to know that I want to feel like my team has an advantage intellectually to out scheme the other coach. So if we come in and we have DK Metcalf, we have Tyler Lockett, we have JSN, we have Kenneth Walker, and we have our other running back. Our other running back. Who's our other running back? I can't, it's off my mind right now. We have our other running back, which you know from UCLA. These guys are excellent, great players. We have great players on the offense. But if you don't have a coach that can scheme well, put them in the right places, utilize their talents at the specific times they need to be utilized, it doesn't matter what talents you have. So I want an offensive minded head coach to come with a scheme that's able to be a guru over the X and O's to put them in the right positions at all times, not just a scheme to say we're going to run the ball today. We're going to pass the ball. No, based off of the advantages that you have over the team you are playing. Scheme these players, put them in a position they need to be in based off of the team you are playing. Like Bill Belichick used to do when he was good, when he had Tom Brady. He said, "Oh, well, this team right here cannot run the ball. We're stopping the run. We're stopping the pass. We're going to make sure you can't pass it all because now you're going to have to utilize your weakness, which is the run." Bill Belichick did the simple stuff, and that's why they won so much. If you had a great running back, what did he do? He would not just load the box with 8 players, 7 players, 6 players. He would scheme. So if you had a great running back, he would make it so your running back got nothing. There's no deals with the running back today. There's no running to the side, doing a zone run. There's no running up the middle. There's none of that. He made it so you could do nothing. The Patriots were able to always get you off the field because you could not operate in your strength. And so then they had Brady, which was excellent at pre-reading the defense. He was excellent at making his check downs. He knew exactly that, okay, we need a first down. Let's keep getting a first down going down the field. Let's just keep going down the field, keep going down the field. He didn't have to just we're just going to throw the fly route. We're just going to run a long post, a fly route. We're just going to do throw it over the middle all the time. He just checked it down. Brady just checked it down. When he couldn't see his read, when his read didn't say that I can throw it up top and throw it for 50 or 60 yards, he just threw it, dumped it to the running back on the side, threw it to the flat, and then all of a sudden you have first down, the chains are moving, and you keep going further down the field, and then he waits, he manipulated the pocket, he didn't have to run because we knew Brady couldn't run at all. Brady can't run at all, but he manipulated the pocket. He was an excellent reader of the defenses. He knew exactly when to check down, and when it was open, he threw it to his receiver downfield, and he was accurate. So all we need to do, what I believe, is play smart, scheme for the competition that you are playing that day. Don't be cute. Just do what works. Get the first down. Don't be predictable. You don't always have to run on first down just because you say we need to run because we haven't been running very efficiently. You run when it's called to run. If the team is giving up passing plays over the middle, if the team is giving up fly routes, or the team is giving up these routes where if they can't stop the screen pass, keep doing what they can't stop until they can stop it. Very easy. We have JSN, one of the best slot receivers even now in the league, that his talents have not been utilized. Not ever. When I watch JSN and I watch what he did at Ohio State, I'm like, why aren't they utilizing him in his strengths? Have him go over the middle. Have him do screen routes. Have him get yak yards where you pass it to him in the backfield and have him get his yak yards by juking somebody. Have DK Metcalf and his big self go over the middle. Get a quarterback that can actually throw it to DK Metcalf over the middle and then give him the yak yards. Don't just throw it up a fly route deep to DK Metcalf all the time. He has an advantage over the linebackers because he's a lot bigger than the linebackers. He has an advantage. He does not need to just be used in one way. But see, that shows a lack of intuition. It shows a lack of creativity from the coaches. The coaches are now gone. Pete Carroll is now gone. Blessings to him. He did a great job, but it is time to go. We got optimism for the offseason. We can now always think about, what coach are we going to get? What's his staff going to look like? Who is he going to hire? What I would say, blessings to everybody here. I know this is a different video, but hey, I'm a football fan. And the Seahawks, I was just waiting to go through this offseason saying Pete Carroll's coming back. He's 72, almost 73 years old. He's going to bring the same sauce. He's going to have to the next season, the same excuses of why we lost and why we look soft on defense, why we play zone defense and soft all the time. Bend, don't break. He's going to make all these excuses to, we just need to do a little bit more of this, and nothing gets done. Now he's gone, and his whole staff is gone. Pete Carroll will now be an advisor to the Seattle Seahawks. He will not even be a vice president of the Seattle Seahawks. He will just be an advisor. Now, who knows how much pull that's going to be he's going to have in choosing the next head coach. But I'm pretty sure that because of the outpouring of Seahawks fans that were saying, look, we need to go in another direction. We love Pete Carroll. He did a great job. Took us to the Super Bowl. He will never be forgotten. He will be in the ring of fame, in the ring of Seahawks ring of fame. But look, we got to get rid of this. We got to change this direction. It is done now. It is good. We are on the path to going towards where we need to be. Because what you didn't want is to have these young players that we have on the team now that we know are good, right? All these young players, the offensive line, all the running backs, Witherspoon, what's his name, Woolen. All these young players we got. We don't want them to get old while we're trying to figure it out on the offensive, on the head coach side, or the offensive line side, or the defensive line side. We want to make sure these guys are still young and hungry and able to perform. And so now we have an opportunity to bring that coach in. My choice, it goes, look, I am future. I remember Jimmy Johnson. I remember how he came in from Miami Hurricanes back in the 80s, came to the Dallas Cowboys. They were 1-15, and all of a sudden, because he knew who to draft, he knew what players to draft because he was just in college back in the 80s when he won 3 national championships with the Miami Hurricanes. He knew who to draft. So when they drafted him to Dallas back in the 90s, 91, they went 1-15 the first year. What happened, guys? It's history what happened afterwards. Dallas Cowboys, one of the greatest dynasties ever because of Jimmy Johnson's guys that he drafted, because he knew the personnel from college. You have an opportunity now to do that same thing. You have an opportunity. My guys is Kalen DeBoer as the head coach. I'm a Husky fan. I'm a Husky fan. But hey, Seahawks, make a play for Kalen DeBoer, one of the best minds in college football. And if you don't get Kalen DeBoer, go ahead and get Grubb, his offensive coordinator. That guy's he is waiting to be a head coach. He is primed to be a head coach. Remember this name, Grubb. Grubb, the offensive coordinator for the Washington Huskies. He should be a head coach now. He is a brilliant mastermind of offense. He is a prodigy. Kalen DeBoer is a prodigy. They learned at South. They learned where did they learn? Uh, um, 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 ah, where did they learn? It was in Idaho, I think, or maybe South Dakota. Not South Dakota. Was it South Dakota? Guys, do you guys know anything about where DeBoer was before he won 3 NIAA championships at this place? Regardless, um, these guys already won championships. I'm sorry that this is my first time making these videos. I'm just so happy, right? Um, he won 3 national titles in the NIAA level, right? I think it's South Dakota State, maybe I forgot, but the level of expertise that these guys at these lower levels get, because they have to perfect their craft. They have to be in that lower level getting players that are not as good and making wine from grapes. They have to be able to create. That's why they're always better, because these younger guys, these guys, these lower levels, these coaches, They have to create from less. So when they create the scheme, and then when they perfect their craft, and when they start to become very successful, like Kalen DeBoer, he's like 112 or something in two in his or 4 3 in his whole career, because they know how to coach, they know how to scheme. They're X's and O's guys, they're gurus. Kalen DeBoer head coach, Grubb or as head coach, either or. And then this is the one thing, and I'm in the video right here. There's always a great offensive coordinator, but they never have a great defensive guru. The team that's going to become the dynasty in the NFL is going to have both. It's about the coaches, y'all, because they know who to draft. They know what they need for their personnel. They know what they need for their scheme. They know what they need for their culture on both sides of the ball. But if you have the great offensive coordinator or head coach that's calling the plays, you can't not have a great defense. You have to have a great defense. So I would say DeBoer as the head coach and the play caller, or Grubb as the offensive coach, a head coach or offensive coordinator, and then hire a Ravens defensive guru like Mike McDonald. So you got offense, defense. They know how to draft. That defense is going to be crazy. Ravens defense. Oh my gosh, they lost pretty much all of their defensive personnel for the Ravens this year, and they're number one in DVOA in the league for defense. That is somebody that knows where to put the players in the right position. He has his culture. He knows what he's expecting. He knows the X and O's. Get those guys. Get the young offensive guru for the head coach, and get the boss, smash mouth, nasty defensive coordinator. Put them together. You got a dynasty. Awaken to the external. Judah J. Who do you prefer as head coach or DC? Head coach, I'm just going to go outside the box. Get an offensive minded head coach like a Kalen DeBoer. I'm stuck. Watch Washington. I know he's young. I know he just came up to that level. I know that. But most of these coaches that become the greats, they started by being in the college ranks. And then they came in. Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson. They came Harbaugh. Harbaugh came from Stanford, went to the 49ers, got him to the Super Bowl. And if he would have stayed, he would have got him and probably back to the Super Bowl and won. Right? Pete Carroll, we know he was in USC, won those national championships. 2 national championships. Should have won the third one against Texas. Didn't win the third one, but he could have won. He could have won another national championship if it wasn't for Vince Young and all that stuff. But he came into the pros, back to the pros. What did he do? He won because he knew of the personnel in college. He had already been in the NFL, in New York Jets. He'd already been New England. But see, he switched up his style, went to USC, changed his philosophy, win forever, compete, and all this stuff. Learned in the college ranks, came back to the NFL. And then he was so good because he knew the personnel. He drafted the Legion of Boom. He drafted Russell Wilson. He knew what Russell Wilson was, what he could add to a team. It's not just because he's so smart. He knew what was in the college ranks. So then when he came back to the NFL, he was basically just benefiting off of his wealth of knowledge from what he knew because of what he experienced, what he scouted, what he observed through tape of these players. We're at that golden opportunity again, Seahawks. We can get the best coaches, not just coaches in the world that come from the college ranks. Go to the college ranks. If we lose the first year, Jimmy Johnson was 1-15 in his first year. What did Jimmy Johnson do? We are in the perfect. We have a team right now with our personnel. Get rid of Jamal Adams. Get rid of Diggs. Get rid of Bobby Wagner. Give him his roses. Put him in the in the Seahawks ring of fame. Get rid of Bobby Wagner. Right? We don't need Brooks. He's not the boss linebacker that you need. He's not boss enough. He doesn't hit hard enough. He doesn't run fast enough. Is he Willis from the 49ers when Willis was boss? Remember Willis, the 49ers linebacker. Is he that level? No. Is he a Kuechly? No. They say he tackles. He gets a lot of tackles. He makes it to the Pro Bowl. He gets tackles because He can't run with the other players that are the wide receivers, the tight ends, and all of a sudden they make the running back makes it past the line somehow. And then Bobby Wagner gets a tackle, and all of a sudden he just stacks up the tackles and makes it to the Pro Bowl. I'm in no way saying Bobby Wagner is not boss. He's a legend, Seahawks legend, but he's not the one we need. This dude is older now too. These guys just need to retire, right? They need to say it's over. My heyday is done. I did all I could. Now I'm gonna move on and let the new generation come through. But they're not gonna do that. Get rid of Bobby Wagner as well, right? You got to draft a quarterback. You have to if you keep our quarterback. What's his name? If you keep see, I can't even remember this dude's name. He's if you keep Geno Smith, then you let him be the bridge quarterback for the quarterback you draft in the draft. I don't know who that could be. It could be Michael Penix. If McCarthy from I really like McCarthy, even though we didn't see him pass much in the national championship. He has just something about him that I see. I'm not calling him Brady, but he's got something. He's accurate. He knows when to run. He has like a certain personality about him I like. There's other quarterbacks. You can move up in the draft. You can give away some capital. This is the best draft to get a quarterback. This is the best draft to get a quarterback. You can move up in the draft, get a quarterback. There's lots of them that are in the draft. You're not going to get Caleb Williams. You're not going to get Derek May. You're not going to get Jalen, the quarterback that won the Heisman Trophy. You're not getting them. You might not get Michael Penix, but I'm serious. There are serious quarterbacks in this draft. Move up, give some capital away, even if it's two first. If you can get Michael Penix for two first, even though he had the knee injuries and all that stuff, the guy shows that if he has time, you build an offensive line around him. He has a gun as an arm. He is accurate. He is a leader. He can do it. Or you go like my choice. I would say J.J. McCarthy. Get J.J. McCarthy, some other quarterback, and then what you do throughout the whole draft, this is the draft right here. Because the reason why it's the draft right here, we have a whole bunch of great pieces already on offense and defense. We just don't have the right scheme. We don't got the right coaches. But then, and we have a bloated contracts. Let go some of these dudes on the out on in the defense, like I told you, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs. Maybe restructure Tyler Lockett. Maybe get rid of Brooks because we can't extend him. He wants 12 million. No, we're not going to extend you for 12 million. We need to get rid of. We may have to get rid of Lucas, when our right tackle, because his knee may be degenerative. But we have Cross. Make sure you stack up. Get two guards that are boss high in the draft. Trade away. Get rid of those players that I mentioned for draft picks. Make sure that you get second round draft picks this year, because we don't have any draft picks because we traded him away from Leonard Williams. Re-sign Leonard Williams. He's a great piece to the puzzle, right? We don't need Jalen. We don't need Jalen. What's his name? Reed. We don't need Jaron Reed. We don't need Jaron Reed, right? We don't need. We need to get. We need to keep. Actually, we could keep. What's his name from Denver that we got? Jones. Date Draymond Jones, right? We could keep him, or you could get rid of him. But regardless, you need to get draft picks, right? Get that quarterback, trade up, and get back into the second round. Get at least two picks in the second round. Put it on the defensive line or the offensive line, preferably guards, right? And then all throughout and draft a linebacker, right? So you don't need any offense other than the quarterback. Don't draft any offense whatsoever. Get the quarterback, get the defense, to get the get a guard, a boss guard, get defensive line help. You don't need no rushers right now. Get the trenches. Get the defensive tackles, right? Defensive tackles. Make sure that you even make a trade. Maybe trade some picks or whatever. Trade a player to get a boss defensive tackle. Someone that can rush from the inside, up the middle, not just on the side, right? Because we have Nuosu coming back. Rush up the middle. If you have Nuosu coming back, you draft in the middle, defensive tackles, you draft guard, and then you get that quarterback by getting that capital, by trading players away, getting rid of players, maybe that the other teams might want. Somebody may want Jamal Adams. You're good. And then we have the new offensive head coach with the new scheme, with his new defensive coordinator. Boom. Anyways, blessings to you guys. I know I don't make videos like this. Hey, but listen, I had to come on. Maurice Gibson, blessings to you. You love Yah, blessings to you. Awaken to the external.com, blessings to you. And glad to see you again, awaken to the eternal.com. And also, who else is here? You love Yah, yes, blessings to you. So I will be making some more Seahawks material later. This is outside of my zone. You guys know what I normally talk about. But we're going to talk